Good afternoon. My name is Devroyd Davis, and this is a very special edition of Beyond the Stock Price. With me is a very special guest who, of course, needs no introduction, but just for the one person who does not know, my very special guest this afternoon is Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest, the Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. She has a wealth of experience, having worked in senior management positions at varying private and public sector organizations, both here in Jamaica and overseas. So I'm going to be sitting with Mrs. Street Forrest just to go over a few questions to enlighten you on some of the initiatives that the Jamaica Stock Exchange has been embarking on, some of the recent successes of the exchange, and the path forward for actually growing the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So could you tell us a little bit about how long the Stock Exchange has been around and some of the things that is accomplished in its time since existing?
The Stock Exchange was incorporated in 1968 but began trading in 1969. So we are actually this year 50 years old. That's a celebration.
Yes.
Yes, and we have accomplished many things. Let us just talk about the market. We have the main market. I just talked briefly about the junior market. We have the bond market. We have the US dollar market. So what we have done is really expanded so that we attract all different type of investors to the market.
Yes.
Now in that period too, we launched the Jamaica Central Securities Depository. Why? We look at risk mitigation, and in order to have what is called a tightly coupled system between our trading platform and our settlement platform reduces risk. We also launched the registrar department. We also launched the Jamaica's JCSD trustee services. All of these are back office, you would call products, in order to allow for a seamless process in the equities business. And we want to see ourselves, we have said we are the back office for the financial community.
I like that.
Yes?
That's really
And so you know what your target is. And so we have done that, but we have also said it is important to educate the market. So in the sphere of education, we have launched our e-campus. That is the postgraduate diploma. It's accredited by the University Council of Jamaica. And the e-campus is a blended learning. Its base is technology, and it's electronic, but it has a bit of the person coming to do the exchange and give the presentations. And the whole idea is that the market must be educated. Whether it is the broker, the investor, the listed company, it's comprehensive. We also have launched several initiatives for other education. For example, our stock market game.
Yes.
And that is for the students around 4th form through to 6th form, so that they have an appreciation and we can build for the next generation.
Yes.
And we also have the public game, public market, so that people can simulate, it's a game, and so that they understand what it takes to be an investor. We also have our apps, our mobile app, and the apps for the iPhone and Android,
yes,
so that persons can get information on a daily basis.
Yes.
Naturally, our website, not to speak about our website, where we provide information on every company that is listed on the market. So these are some of the initiatives. We also have our investor outreach, workplace outreach. And if you notice when I say this, I'm saying we are so committed,
yes,
to market education first, so that person understand the advantages and also any issues in relation to investing in the market.
So, what are some of the benefits of listing on the stock exchange?
Okay, so we are talking now about the company listing on the stock exchange.
Yes.
So the benefits are many. One is really just about raising that funds so that you can grow that business. The raising equity specifically is raising patient money, what is called patient capital.
Yes, these are tremendous benefits for an actual company to seek to list on the exchange. You're talking about an avenue for growth in so many different respects.
In so many different respects.
The tax benefit, the corporate governance, the succession planning, all of these, the publicity, all of these will inherently drive growth in the company and facilitate expansion.
That is correct.
You're doing so much more than that, because also this year, I believe you launched the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. And could you just give us a little bit of information on the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange?
Right, so I'd like to talk about the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange from the standpoint of sustainability. The fact is that the social sector is critical to growth. Where we talk about crime, we talk about education, we talk about the small, very small businesses or philanthropy. It is critical to the underpinning of growth in Jamaica or anywhere else. Globally, this is an area that is expanding much more rapidly than other areas, because again, people understand that even where you try to balance that budget or you try to do fiscal discipline in other areas, if the social fabric is not right, you are not going to get stability and growth. So the stock exchange has said, look, as part of our corporate social responsibility, which we have been appealing to our listed companies to embrace, we must embrace it as well. And so we must lead by example. So in 2010, we were one of the first signatures of the UN Sustainable Exchanges. And also we said, look, what does that mean? One of the things that we wanted to concentrate on is corporate social responsibility.
Yes.
So the Social Stock Exchange, one, is for the Jamaica Stock Exchange, a corporate social responsibility tool. Secondly, we believe that we must focus and we must assist with growth. It is altruistic, but it is also good for business.
Recently, we saw where there was a campaign to get more women involved in investing. Why is it so important to have more women getting involved in investing? And then what are some of the successes that you've gleaned in terms of the JSC's effort in trying to inspire more women to invest?
Women tend to be cautious when it comes to investing in the market, because I believe that generally speaking, they are seen as the main breadwinner. So they become shy in respect to investing. But what we wanted to do is to encourage them, because if you are looking on wealth creation,
yes,
which women must do, then the stock market, being a good regulated market, is a place that we want to encourage them to look at. We also want to encourage them not only from the standpoint of being an investor, but many women in Jamaica start businesses. And we want to encourage them also to look at the next level, because men tend to look at long term in terms of the capital market, in terms of putting their business to list. We want to try to inculcate that sort of an idea, culture for women. So we have reached out to women and we have been speaking to them about investing in the market. Now it is working.
Yes.
Because we have found that under 20% of women would invest in the market. Now, when you look at the last IPO that we had, which was Wigton,
yes,
more female invested in Wigton than male.
Wow.
And so we can see that something is happening. So the message is resonating. They're understanding that there is a risk, there is a reward, and how to measure them and how to mitigate some of these risks. So I see where women at all sectors of the society are now investing in the market.
Yes, and again, commendations to the stock exchange on their efforts in terms of involving more women, inspiring more women to actually become investors in the stock exchange. But so just to shift gears a little bit, we will talk about the performance of the JSE indexes. Just over the past probably 5 or so years, we've seen where Bloomberg has actually credited the stock exchange with being the best performing stock exchange for 2018. And also this was a record that we held in 2015, if I am not mistaken. What are some of the factors do you think that have contributed to this stellar performance?
Several factors have contributed to the fact that we are number one best performing exchange in 2018 and also best performing exchange in 2015. The stock exchange cannot take credit alone for this, because what you have found is that the government set out on a path of fiscal discipline.
Yes.
And that contributes to how the economic foundation is set. Also, coupled with that is just the confidence that companies have in Jamaica, and the fact that they set out to ensure that they expand within Jamaica and externally. And also the fact that the investors, having received information on these companies, were willing to take part in the companies that are listed on the market. So what Bloomberg looks at is, one, how the index perform. And the index is really about how the price times the number of shares have improved over from one period to another. And so price is very critical to the equation. And the price goes up based on how the companies are valued. And so you have had great valuations in companies over the period. It means that the companies are performing.
Yes, and we've seen where that is actually sort of reinforcing, because good performance actually begets a better performance in the index in and of itself.
That is correct.
And sometimes it goes the other way as well.
So it turns around, and the Bloomberg also spoke about our governance. You see, the economic underpinning could be very good, and you do not have governance, proper governance of the exchange. There's no confidence that the persons are going to put their money in these companies. So governance is very, very critical to the entire success that we have been having in over the years.
Yes, and indeed we've seen where the exchange has been, even the exchange itself is a listed company, and we've seen where good governance has played a critical role in the performance of the exchange, and that has been reflected in the share price of the company as well. Yes. But speaking more broadly, the exchange in and of itself was up, I think, 30% in 2018, which is tremendously good return for shareholders.
Very, very good return, because where else would you be getting that return?
Exactly.
And whether persons are in Jamaica or elsewhere, that return is really a stellar performance.
Yes. So, Mr. Street Forrest, thank you so much for just explaining simply to us that the stock market is really just a market that allows persons to raise funds for the expansion of their business, as well as to facilitate the trading of those securities as they become.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And having been actually a participant in some of those outreach activities, or rather a patron at those activities, I can say definitively that the stock exchange really puts in educating persons about the exchange is tremendously well thought out and really, really commendable in terms of getting persons to understand what the exchange really is,
Yes.
how the stock market really works, and of course the benefits and the risks of
That's
being
correct.
involved in the stock market.
Right.